and gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today, uh, Viscountess Paige, Melody Songtailor. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, anytime.
We were talking off camera. It's been a minute since we've got to see each other in person, and it's just nice to finally get to see you again because you're just awesome to be around. Oh, no. Oh, no. There she is.
Hi. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. So again, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. That's Viscountess Paige Melody Songtailor. She's happy to be here. Let's get going. Melody, we're going to start with the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. How long have you been playing Amp
Oh gosh. I started in like 2014,
Mhm.
but I've kind of, I don't know. I'm like way into Amp Card, but there's some times where I'm also like, I can't do this anymore. So
Yeah.
take a couple of breaks here and there. So
Yeah, you got to make sure you have the spoons for it.
mhm.
It's becoming a common trend, especially through COVID. Like, do I have the spoons to do this online? Do I have the spoons to be in office for this? And yeah, no, that's
Mhm.
absolutely fine. So could you please tell us a little bit about the persona that is Melanie Songtailor?
Well, when I first joined, I was a clarinet player,
Mhm.
and part of my persona was I was planning on performing at events like, background music type stuff,
Mhm.
which I did do that at first in Colorado Springs more. But then I got the impression that, flurbing wasn't kind of the thing that is done in AmpGuard. And so it's been less and less that I've been playing clarinet. But I picked my persona because I was like, well, when I'm trying to find other people on the internet, it was like really hard because their first names are not their first names on
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
So I'm like, well, my real name's Melissa. I go by Mel. And so I'll pick something else that starts with Mel, and then everybody will be able to find me. And so that's how I picked the melody part. And then Song Taylor, the song is the whole fact that I've done a whole bunch in music and got degrees and all of that kind of stuff in music. And then the tailor is the whole sewing aspect of it. And I just really liked Song Taylor, so I
Yeah.
stuck with it.
No, it's a beautiful name. And I did again until you sent me pictures. Again, something we talked about off camera that will come into the KOK episode here. I've only ever known you as like this great artisan.
Mhm.
But I mean, music is an art. I just didn't know. And then you sent me a picture for the KOK episode and you're playing it. I'm like, oh, well, we were going to explore this a little bit. So that's super
Yeah.
cool. All right. So what award or achievement would you say you're most proud of receiving?
Oh gosh. I saw the episode last week and I knew you were going to ask this, and I don't have an answer. Um, Probably the thing I'm most confused about was Viscountess. Like, I don't know how I got any of my titles, but like, that's cool. Like, they're fun, flirby.
All right. Fair enough. Morgan and Sarai would both like to know, what is your favorite class game?
Oh, I like the ones that are complicated, the ones that involve bridges or, you have two different goals or three different goals,
Mhm.
got to rescue the peasants and, burn down the bridge and stuff like that. Those are much more fun to me than, just the regular ditching type things, mostly because I play, I don't play archer, but I play assassin like an archer. So
Okay.
I like the extra feature of step into the shadows so that I don't have to worry about people coming up and killing me.
Fair enough.
So, so, so yeah, I like doing archery a lot. So anything that benefits an archer, I'm all about that.
That's awesome. So this it kind of leads into the next question, of course, which is what is your favorite class to play? You mentioned assassin. There's a little bit of talk of
Mhm.
archer there. Is assassin the favorite?
Yep, assassin's the favorite.
Okay.
I started off with bard, and I was crazy. I'd go out on the field with two daggers and be like, I'm a bard. But that was my music experience. I'm like, oh, if I'm going to be anything, it's clearly going to be a bard. And
Yeah.
I totally was awful at it, but it was fun.
Okay. Deverick would like to know, as the caveat to the last bare necessity. Sorry, Sin. What's your favorite weapon set?
Um, what do you mean by weapon set? Sorry.
So you mentioned double daggers. Is that like your go-to? Are you a sword and board user?
Oh, okay. I see what you say. Yeah, I'm an archer.
Okay.
Like I carry an extra dagger around just in case, but really, if I run out of arrows, I just call dead, you know?
All right.
Like I'm an archer.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Well, those are the bare necessities. Sin, this is the third time I'm going to apologize to you in one episode. It's a numerical. Let's get to the three questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. We're at episode 95. It's been a minute. Sir Glenolf has received his toaster via Calthrax through me to Sir Alucard. Does Sir Glenolf deserve a soda maker?
Sure. This sounds like one of those train travelings at two different directions type questions, but sure, he deserves a soda maker.
Fantastic. He'll be happy to hear that. Stillhat would like to know, is Stillhat the best bear?
I believe Stillhat is the only bear I know, so yes. Oh, sorry, Kodiak. That's kind of an obvious one. No, still, I'm gonna pick Stillhat.
Oh, okay. Well,
sorry.
Unfortunately, the points were half off today. It was a discount so that we could give other points to other episodes. So Stillhat, you'll get 2 points. Congratulations. We're very proud of you for doing that. Freya would like to know, why are bears so overrated?
I don't know why they're so overrated. They're so cute.
They are so cute, right? Like, ladies.
There's a whole franchise of Winnie the Pooh. So I mean.
Oh yeah. Winnie the Pooh is. Yeah, he's pretty cute, I guess. Okay, fine. That's fine, Melody. You know what? You just keep not paying the compliment to Kodiak. I'll work on it myself. Last question of the general questions. What are your thoughts on Dragonspine getting a mobile pool and/or jacuzzi?
Oh, right. I had thought about that one. I don't know. Both of them seem hard to be mobilized, but and after the battle, like jacuzzi sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay. All right.
Well, it'd have to be a big pool to fit everyone.
Right. Well, yeah. So originally we were just going to put it in the back of Dom's truck. Like that was going to be how we were going to do it. But the more people we get involved in this idea, the bigger this thing has to get. Melody, how would you fund a pool or jacuzzi?
Oh, we'd have to do fundraisers, like probably a 50-50. What are those called?
Raffle? Or ticket pull or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. And doing some of the fighting stuff. Those are always very popular. They win. I've done fundraisers of like, we were going to have a masquerade ball, and then I made a whole bunch of masks for people to purchase, that kind of thing. So, just typical fundraising. I think we could do it.
Ooh, masquerade. We should do, if we ever get to play Amcard in person again, a masquerade ball would be fantastic.
They're so much fun. I held one in Colorado Springs in my front yard, which my front yard looked like a soccer field. It's just like flat and nothing in there. And so we decorated it up with string lights, and we made masks for people to get ahead of time. And then we did Renaissance dancing. Like I taught a class on how to do that. And we, for food situation, we had a dessert bar. So it was bring your own dessert. And we had like everybody potlucking their desserts, and it was fun.
Love it. That sounds great. We should absolutely steal that to try to get another, maybe an Arizona event off the ground that the kingdom wants to have. Yes. Okay. Well, those were the 3 questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Again, episode 95. It's been going on for a minute, y'all. We were talking off camera. Another thing we were talking about off camera. I think KOK is coming to like 2 years old.
Yeah, that's impressive. You're doing a great job with that.
Well, thank you. I mean, technically, if I get to 104 episodes and I've been doing it every week, that would be 2 years of episodes. But that's not how that works for some reason. I don't know. We'll figure it out. let's get to the questions that brought you here, Melanie.
Okay.
But we have to start with one of my new favorite questions that Stillhead asks. What's your weirdest flex?
Weirdest flex. God, there's got to be some kind of crafting flex I have. I don't know. I guess being able to felt cute animals without a pattern.
Okay. All right. You're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is on that. I'm just saying.
Well, I could run to my craft room and show you.
Well, I mean, it looks like Stillhead's gonna be looking for some artisans for a new fundraiser after mid-rain. So, maybe we can talk
I'm
there.
a good person to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. So this question's on here because it has a bear pun connected to it. That's not true. Yes, it is. That's the question we're on. Are you the torchbearer of any particular skills?
No.
Are you sure? You don't want to maybe, talk about the sewing or the music or, the artistries of any kind? No.
I have skills, but I wouldn't consider myself a torchbearer. Like bearer. I am a jack of a lot of trades, but I don't claim to know everything about any particular one.
Okay. All right. Well, that's still going to lead me to ask these questions. What instrument do you play?
My main instrument is clarinet, but I play all the woodwinds. And because I was a music teacher, you had to learn how to play all the instruments. So currently I've been playing guitar most of all, but I suck at it. Like, there's no question.
Did you know that a young Kodiak was once kicked out of the saxophone group because he couldn't play?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Well, then he was sent to the trombone and he couldn't play that either. And he went to his music teacher and said, I would like to learn to play the drums. And the music teacher said, you shall go to chorus.
Yeah. Most music teachers wants the best people in the percussion section because otherwise it ends up a wild house back there.
Yeah. So I owed for 3. I owed for 3 on musical instruments. It's really unfortunate.
There's this joke that, there was this guy who was a violinist and they're like, oh, you don't do very well on the violin. So maybe you should try something else. And so he tried clarinet and he's like, no. Clarinet, you're still not doing good. Maybe perhaps something with less fingers. And so he tried the French horn. He's like, no, that's not good either. And then he's like, well, what about percussion? You only have 2 sticks you have to deal with. And in the back, he still wasn't good. And they're like, okay, well, let's just take away one of those sticks. And then you have a baton. You can direct the band.
That would have been where I got to at that point. It's really unfortunate too. I mean, this isn't supposed to be about me. Hey, I said it. Look at that. The episode's complete now. But I did a East Coast tour with a band as a singer. You would think I would have some kind of musical talent, but I have none. But that's fine. Not about me. Let's move on. Lightning and Beatrix would both like to know, what's your favorite garb that you own?
Oh, that I own. Because I saw questions about favorite garb that I've made, and I actually pulled up pictures just in case. But
it's the next question.
Okay. Well, I made this Italian Renaissance. It's actually the picture that I gave you for one of the 3 pictures for the Dealy Boppy Tonight thing. And so I really like that one, mostly because I did a lot of hand sewing of pearls in there, and I thought it was cool. I don't like the taffeta under thing. I actually gave it away for one of the fundraiser things for Dragon Spine, but I need to make a new undergown.
Okay. All right. So that's the favorite garb that you own. What's the favorite garb that you made?
Well, Okay, so I'm going to show pictures because I can.
Can you on here? Is that a thing?
I'm going to do it in the chat.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
just going to try.
Let's see, in the chat here.
Oh, no, I can't do it in the chat here. Well, maybe I could share my screen. Would that work?
I don't know if this would be a first for KOK for you to have
Oh,
these.
okay. Never mind.
So,
Host disabled participate. So,
and that host is
okay.
a jerk. I tell you what, why don't you after the episode put them in the comments of your video
Okay, that would
for the
work.
people. But if you could describe in many words.
Many words. Well, the favorite thing that I've ever appliqued was a tunic for Sir Baihu. It was a dragon spine tunic, but he was, you know, an Asian inspired character. So instead of doing the straight out dragon spine thing, I did an Asian inspired dragon spine. And so the mountains are like ink drawings of mountains like you would see in Chinese calligraphy, and the dragon is a Chinese dragon rather than a normal dragon. So it's got a long curving spine and S type thing going on. And I just love that because the ink thing, it looks like, okay, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it looks like ink on fabric. And I was just like, this is what I was going for. Yay.
Okay.
So that's my favorite bit of applique. If you want to talk about my favorite outfit that I've done, it was one for Sarah in Pegasus Valley. And it has her fighting company on the back, and it's got these split sleeves in it so that you can take a button off and then you have your arms free so you can do sword battle without having these fancy long sleeves in it. And I just thought it was a cool design and turned out neat.
MacGyver's Valkyrie tunic with, love it. Love it. That's super good. Yes, Kenjin, the host doesn't like to share the spotlight. You are correct. But it's not about me, and we will push forward. So you are known in Dragonspine and Amcard as a whole as a crafts person. What is your favorite craft skill?
Oh man. Well, you know, I do a lot of crafting. Like I used to work at Joann Fabrics, and I guess my flex, if we're going to go back to flex, was that I knew how to do every craft in the store. So you know, the employees would always like send customers to me when they were asking obscure questions. But when it comes to favorite, I think quilting is actually my favorite.
Okay. All right.
I've made somewhere around 100 quilts. So
dang.
I was majorly into quilting before I joined Amtgard. So I haven't done as many since then.
Question. My first knighting that I ever went to was Azul Jades and White Sands. Did you participate in that quilt?
Yep.
That was beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was the one who put it all together in that center compass rose. I made that as well. So
oh man, I can only hope one day to have something that cool. Like Azul Jade's knighting had a lot of firsts for me. It was my first knighting. I met Goldcrest. I fought Sir Glenn, all of those great things. But that quilt was amazing. I got to see a knight knighted with the Angel Blade, which Supernatural is one of my favorite shows. Like, but that quilt stands out. I remember people being like gasping of like shock of like beauty and being like, holy, that was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Make me one. Not joking. Joke. It was make me three. Also joking. So we talked about the Valkyrie tunic you made for MacGyver. What was your favorite commission that you've done?
Probably the Valkyrie tunic from MacGyver.
Okay.
Like I brought that one up too early.
Is there maybe another one that is like a close second or a 1B that you're like, oh, well,
you know, there was this really cool commission that I got early on before like people were like, oh, she's the person to commission. It was like, oh, yeah, I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to trust her. And so it was a cloak that they wanted it to look beat up and all this type stuff to match a video game. And I remember there was a lot of really fancy filigree on it. And so I got onto the video game and like copied the filigree from the picture and was able to draw out and make up the rest. And then like the hemline was all supposed to be beat up. So I did one of those tricks where you like make it look like it's bad, but you put in the supports and stuff like that so that it's really not going anywhere. It's not going to wash away or anything. But one of my favorite things about that filigree is that I have kind of this love of using hammered satin. And if you've not seen it, it's also called crepe back satin, but it looks like hammered metal. It is just really cool stuff. And so I did the applique out of the hammered satin, and it just shines. It picks up the light to the point where you could get blinded if you get it from the right angle.
I love it. That sounds fantastic.
It's cool.
So since we're on that topic of you doing commissions, one, are you still in the market for doing commissions?
Oh, if friends ask really, really nicely, I might consider it. But, I have a lot of health issues. Mm-hmm. And so that's also something that's kept me coming and going out of Amtgard. So like right now, I haven't sewn anything in like a year. So I've just been doing like little tiny crafts here and there when I can, but I just don't have the physical energy to stand up and cut out and, sit at the machine for hours at a time. So, so most likely if someone were asked me for a commission, I'd say no.
Okay. All right. But the health gets better, you get in a better spot, you're going to announce it that you're like, guys, I'm back on it. Yep. Mel's back in the game. Let's start, you want to throw some hundreds and yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So again, one of the things we talked about off camera is that you've designed some battle games. So what's your favorite game that you've designed?
Well, someone was saying that they wanted to have a battle game that was like playing chess, where you had to both have this whole idea of this master game that you're playing in addition to having to fight. So I made up a game called Goblin Tic-Tac-Toe, and everybody's a goblin, so they only have one hit point, and it's single sword only. And it was set up so that there was like a center box within the ring with only 2 entrances. And there was a tic-tac-toe board in there. And so you had to play tic-tac-toe to win your side of the game. But then you also had to try and defeat everybody who was around the tic-tac-toe board. It was a lot of fun.
I love it. Like you make foam X's and foam O's and you put them on the other sides, right? And then you're like, the board's in the middle and the game only ends when someone has tic-tac-toe.
Right.
That sounds wonderful. Let's do that every day.
There were a couple of walls to force some.
Yes.
And
I love it.
We used bandanas for the X's and O's because Sunshaven has just a ton of bandanas if you've ever been there. Like, I don't know how they managed to get.
Fair enough. I'm going to steal it. That's going to be a game that's going to be played. I'm going to try to do it at a Kingdom event because I think Goblin Tic-Tac-Toe sounds wonderful. Okay. So I got another bear pun for you. I hope you're ready. What would you consider to be a bare necessity of Amtgard that new players should focus on?
I think this is the Garber coming out in me, but I think clothing is something that we really should focus on.
Okay.
Because if you're in a park and you're holding a foam sword in your t-shirts and jeans, it's just like, oh, I'm, playing around with a foam sword. Whereas if you have the full garb experience, then it's like, oh, like I'm actually doing this club. I've got a uniform. I've got my, um, sorry.
Oh, it's fine. No, your uniform, that's what we're, we're hoping everyone has, right?
Yep. So
Okay.
it just makes you feel more invested, I guess is.
Okay. So you are the first person to mention garb is a necessity, but it is one of those things that when you watch videos of older players that are being asked questions, it's like having people not in garb, it takes away. It means that, the park's not helping the person get garb, the person's not putting that much effort into it, or, all these things that could make Amp Guard better. Having garb is a great idea.
Yeah. I've actually helped out quite a bit with like making park garb that people can just throw on and wear their first time. And a lot of people feel shy their first time to put on garb, but after a week or two of coming out and seeing everybody, it's like, it just adds to the atmosphere. It just makes it feel more like, we are a fantasy based game and not just a bunch of people swinging golf sticks in the park,
Yeah, for sure. I still wear every so often my brown tunic that Dame Annabelle made me, like my fourth weekend, where it's like, it's a simple brown tea tunic, but it made me feel like I was part of the team. It fit the persona. Those are the steps you got to take. Little things like that will make your Amp Guard experience that much better. So, Kenjin has a question that's in the chat. For someone who is a crafter, but is very weak on garbing, Kenjin, come on, you're not weak on anything. What kind of projects do you recommend to improve the skills to build confidence?
My favorite beginner crafting thing is a circles cloak. And what you do is you go to Goodwill and you find a circular tablecloth. Then all you have to do is cut a slit up the front and a little hole for your head and, just basic hem stitches around each of those. Put a couple of ribbons on, and then you've got a really nice looking cloak. You don't even have to hem the bottom, because if you're going to Goodwill and finding a tablecloth, it's already hemmed. So it's a really easy thing to do. And it looks really great, because if you put the circle cloak on so that it's like over one arm and under the other, you look like a duelist. It's just really neat looking. And, if you're cold, it works.
Wow, that's a great idea. And you just need, this is the kind of skills that we need to have here on KOK, where we can just know stuff. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about you again and your persona.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your personal heraldry.
Oh, my heraldry. I almost got into that earlier. It's a tree of life with a clarinet in the center instead of a tree trunk. And I am of the belief that heraldry is like heraldry, where that's the basic idea of it. I don't have one particular tree and one particular looking design that I expect it to be. So anything that has a tree with leaves and roots, And then the clarinet is actually a chalumeau, which is the ancient predecessor to a clarinet. Is basically like if you took a recorder and stuck a reed on it. So there weren't that many keys to it. So my heraldry, if you see the picture of it, it only has one key on it. And clarinets, typically have a lot more than that. So.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful. And again, I apologize. This is week 3 in a row where I keep coughing. I just can't seem to get rid of it. But if you notice, no cough drops. I'm getting there, getting closer. Okay, Melody. This question is on Kingdom of Kodiak still, because too many people answer incorrectly. Okay. Okay. I want to preface, as I'm about Melody Songtailor. Should back shields be part of version 9?
No, not at all.
Hey,
I think it would be game breaking.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Melody, Songtailor, amp guard player and smart person, they should not be part of V9. You're absolutely correct. That being said, I will still ask Kato's second question: to flurb or not to flurb?
You know, I love flurbing, but I think people use flurbing in the wrong way in Amped Guard quite
Okay.
often. You have people who are like, oh, I'm this dark asshole character, like, and that's how I am on the field and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're just a jerk on the field. You're not a flurb. And I don't like that aspect.
Yeah.
So if you're going to flurb, stay on the sidelines and play music or, do your crafting right there next to the field and pretend like you're an actual Renaissance woman doing your stuff for man or whatever. Sorry.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no. I remember when we brought the Church of Apocalypse on, and they were like, "We are willing to play the bad guy,
mhm.
but play the bad guy." Like the
Yes.
flurb part of it, of like, we're not jerks when we're not doing, but like, if you need a bad guy, we're the bad guy. We're willing to do that.
Yeah.
Balder going to GOTC and taking a stick and murdering the inflatable unicorn that I was trying to protect. That hurt a little bit, but he was playing the villain, and he did a very good job. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
So
absolutely play the villain. Just don't play the asshole.
there you go. Very good. Very good. Zana would like to know, is there any rain themes that you would like to see?
I am a sucker for Harry Potter, and I would love to see a Harry Potter rain theme.
Okay. Should have came to Dragon's Path Las Cruces when I was the Monarch. I had Quidditch and everything.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so Sir Randall had never seen or never read the books. His first week of my reign, he takes the personality test on Pottermore. Like, everyone was doing it. He read the books. He was like giving updates on Facebook about how these books are insane.
Mhm.
It felt really great to tap, like, he is a wealth of knowledge, and to tap an area where he's like, I have no knowledge that I don't know.
Mhm.
And then afterwards he's like, I don't know, I don't want to speak for him, but I would assume he would say, I wish I didn't know, because
Oh.
but, Morgan, Morgan, right?
Oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite AmpGuard event?
I am a huge fan of Gathering of the Crowns.
Mhm.
I think that it's a great event. I love the fact that, there is a lot of fighting to it, but there's a lot of not fighting going on too. And so, like, I was organizing some A&S a few years there, and we had like 20 different classes and different teachers coming in and people participating. Like, I was entirely absorbed with that. But then you also have great vendors that you're going and seeing, and you have great things going on as far as meetings going, and important business being attended to. So I mean, to me, it's a really good event for all of those
Absolutely.
things.
In the I've been to 2 GOTCs in my time playing, because we've had COVID for one, and the next one is in July, but who knows if we'll actually have it.
Yeah.
And walking Merchants Row every day of GOTC multiple times, looking at stuff, talking to my friends about, like, oh, if I get this for you because it's your birthday, like, oh, you'll get me this because it's my birthday, and like, we're trading back and forth. And then going to Sir Sane's sword making class when he's hungover, not in garb, wearing a Green Bay Packers jersey, and he forgets half of his supplies in his truck. So I've got to run and go get, like, it makes the moments, and it's all at GOTC. So
Yes.
if you've never been, go to GOTC. So Kenjin has the caveat question to that. What would your perfect event look like?
Um, I feel like we have the possibility to have a perfect event, but it hasn't been treated that way yet. I think the Olympiad is an
Mm,
excellent thing. It's the only rotating event that can be held at any park.
okay.
And it is the premier place to be if you want to enter your um, as a fighter or as a crafter
Mhm.
and win. So I just feel like that event should be boosted up more. Like
Okay.
it's really cool and I wish more people would attend.
Okay.
um,
So your perfect amp card event already exists. It needs to be looked at a little bit or attended more, and it's
right, yeah,
Olympiad.
yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be attended more and just more love, like have more vendors show up, more people show up, more competition. um, I just think it's a
Cool.
really cool event and I wish to see more.
For sure. Okay. Awesome. Sancha, not Sancha. Yeah, Sancha. I said it right. I said it right the first time. Kodiak, trust yourself. What would you like to accomplish in the next few years of your amp card career?
Oh gosh, you know I hate to say that I don't really have any goals, but um, my goal always in amp card was to have fun. Like there were the first couple of months, everybody was like, oh, you got to be a knight, you got to be a knight, and all this stuff about that. And I'm like, I'm over that point right now. It's like, yeah, if I'm a knight, cool, that's nice, but it's not something I'm striving for.
Sure.
So I feel like you play the game the way you want to play the game and the awards will come. So there's no award that I'm particularly going for. I'm
Okay.
just being me and doing what I want to do.
At a girl. Yes. 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 Okay. Awesome. Melody, are you in any fighting companies or households?
I am in the household, the House of the Golden Acorn, and um, it's was started by Fiddles. She's out in eh, in the East Coast, Southern East Coast. Like I don't remember what kingdom. I'm really bad with names and kingdoms. So anyway, the household is entirely about making scrolls and teaching. So it was just kind of those two things intersected and I like doing both of them. So I'm in the
Nice.
household.
Awesome. That's great. Cool. Any other ones, or is that your the golden
That's
acorn?
that's that's it.
Okay. Awesome. So if anyone's looking for an awesome person, you should go bother Melody about,
Yeah, yeah. I do have my eye on a fighting company, but
Hey, look at that. Is that a KOK exclusive? Did we just break some ground here?
I don't know. I've dropped hints to their members quite a bit, so I don't know that it's
Oh,
completely out there.
right. Okay. I'm excited for this. I'll pay attention. We'll see what happens in the future. All right.
Okay.
Shroud Star asked this question. I love the question, so I'm gonna keep asking it. Shroud Star, you still haven't checked in. Are you guys doing okay? Uh, if you could create a letter award for Amcard that doesn't exist, what would it be for, and what would you call it?
Oh gosh, one that doesn't exist. I think we have some really good ones.
Mhm,
I think what I would do is I would split the dragon into two different awards.
mhm, mhm,
Um, I've done this before in competitions, and we divided it up by fine arts versus folk arts.
mhm,
And that way, there are so many people who have like 6 or 7 different things that they do in the dragon category. And
mhm.
it's like, it would be nice if you could get awards specifically for more of the things that you enter, because
Absolutely.
dragon is huge, you
Yep.
know?
So I don't know. So one of the trends that's been on KOK for the last couple of weeks is, yeah, let's just break up all of the awards so you can get a whole bunch of different masterhoods, and
Mhm.
then just have one knighthood. You get
Mm.
knighted for, taking on the office after you've become a master, because your master is like the last award for you, and then the knighthood is essentially the award for Amtgard, where you're like, okay, you're taking on a full-time office now. But
Mhm.
breaking up all of the masterhoods into tiered ladder awards for each subject, and then just making one knighthood. I know Dallin, who's in the chat, is a big fan of that.
Mhm.
So let's see. All right. So questions that go along with that. If you could change one rule in Amtgard that already, I'm sorry. If you could change one rule in Amtgard right now, what would it be and why?
Mm. I don't know that I have any particular rules that I don't like.
Okay.
I would change the book itself to include more information about crafting and fighting events, because those are a big part of our game, and they're really not in the Amtgard book at all.
Yeah.
There's like a little appendix in the back that says, oh, these are the ladder awards, but you don't hear about crafting competitions, or there isn't anything that goes through and explains how the double elimination works, and those kind of fighting things, and how to judge a fighting competition versus how to judge on the field fighting.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. A little bit more details about what's going on in the game. I think the only problem there is that kingdoms do it different, right? Like,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
what ends up coming up. But if COM takes my proposal fully, COM, calling you out because you said yes to my proposal, and they do the history of all the parks, one of the other things they could do there is be like, this is how we run ANS, this is how we run tournaments,
Mhm.
so that you can have a consensus to be like, oh, well, of the 22 kingdoms, 7 of them do double elimination bear pits,
Mhm.
or 15 of them do best of the best, or however you want to look at it.
Mhm.
But yeah, having that content is just another example of stuff that everyone should have access to and know, so that when you're forming a new kingdom or trying to evolve your kingdom, you have somewhere to look for that information.
Exactly. And especially when you have new people walking into the game and they're like, oh, well, I'm really interested in the ANS aspect. It's like you have to look around and say, oh, that person does ANS, have them, talk
Yep.
with them. And there's not any like, here, this is the section in the book that talks about that,
Yep. Yep.
It's a part of our game. We should have it
For
in the
sure.
book.
Nope. That you're absolutely right. So Godric had me on his show a couple weeks ago. Humble brag, I've been on a couple talk shows. Godric then came on and said, you know what, KOK needs this question asked because Kodiak has an opinion about it. If you could remove one of the knighthoods, what knighthood would you remove and why?
You know, I if I had to,
Mhm.
I would think that Rose and Crown Knight could be combined. I think that Lions and the new orders of the crowns, that
Mhm.
those are very similar to one another, and I would think that it would be harder to get orders of the crowns, given if you're getting like lots of lions, like those two would be hard to anyway. So
Mhm.
yeah, if I had to get rid of one, that would be the one I would get rid
Yeah,
of.
I think so. That again, it's a new question to KOK,
Mhm.
but the first merger of getting to one knighthood is merging Flame and Crown.
Mhm.
That seems like the first merger. Um, I know they're two different types of service, Dallin, but if you want to get to the point where you have one knighthood, you have to eventually merge them together. And it seems like the easiest merge of the well, it's actually not true. Making Battlemaster and Sword into one path would be
Yeah.
the easier, because is two different, but it's also two different kinds of battle. It's a discussion to be had for sure. But Dallin, as always, I love that you're in the chat giving me my comeuppance. We have 5 more questions, and we will be in the most difficult of questions, Melody. We call them the funny ones.
Okay.
Okay. So, what's your thoughts on Battle Night?
On Battle Night? And this is supposed to be a funny one?
No. This is one of the 5 questions before we get to the funny ones.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I think Battle Night is a cool direction that they've decided to go into, but I think you're right that it could have just been part of Sword. I know people kind of view Sword as like the holy grail of knighthoods,
sure.
But well, it really is similar.
Let me preface with, if the option for Battle Night was going to exist, I prefer it being its own thing. But also, I think that if we just expand all of the knighthoods the same way that we're talking about expanding all the masterhoods, eventually someone's going to go, hey, the rubber band effect needs to happen. Let's just smash them all into one knighthood and keep the masterhoods. So I think pointing out that each of these things are uniquely different will eventually get us to the point where they're like, yeah, so masterhood's very important. Knighthood should be just a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's why Dallin and I have similar points of agreement where a singular knighthood is important, but there are multiple different ways of getting there. And, instead of Sir Smiley's approach, which is just nuke knighthoods and then you don't have to worry about it. We can't do that. But 4 more questions. Who do you look up most to in the game?
Well, my knight is probably the person that I look up most to. Kristen Hammock. Her name is Dame Linden. She's out of Texas, and she's not as into Amtgard as she used to be. She's kind of gone to the SCA type side of the LARPing, but she just does such amazing stuff and just has such a wide breadth of things that she's talented in. Like, I dream to be a crafter as good as she is.
Oh, well, I'm sure that she would tell you that you're well on your way there, because it's very clear that you are. Okay, so 2 questions. We're going to put them back to back here. Tell us about a handful of up-and-comers that you'd like to give a shout out to. And then tell us about a couple of people that you're like, those are the people, they should be knighted now.
Okay. Well, the knighted now, I believe that Sarah McIver should definitely get her serpent belt. I am so excited for her. It was fun watching her develop from a kind of a baby crafter, and then she's just done some amazing work. And I just think that is great. And then on top of that, because she already has her masterhood, so she totally deserved her masterhood. So I just think on top of that, she's got the personality to be an excellent knight, and I think she should be knighted. As far as shout outs, I know Beth still is on her way, definitely, as far as Crown Knight goes, but I think she's also a crafter to watch out for. It would not surprise me if she ended up being a double belted knight for that reason, probably triple, given that she's also into service. So I mean, she's someone to watch out for. At my home park, there's a gal named Ivy who has just gotten some of her very first dragons, I believe. And she's just new to Amtgard, been playing for, I want to say a little bit more than 6 months, and does great stuff with chain work. And I just can't wait to see how far she gets. She's got the patience and the dedication to do really well at crafting. And I think that it will be cool to see how she goes.
Awesome. Well, that is right. I was there to see Ivy's work when we visited Scorpion's Peak for Midrain. super cool. Stillhat has also started picking up the foam sword, so let's not just limit her to a possibility of 3 belts there, Melody.
Okay.
Yeah. She fought in the Crown Qual tournament. She's playing in battle games. She's been coming to fighters practice. Yeah, pretty.
Okay.
Yeah,
I won't rule her out.
don't rule her out.
She's a quadruple threat.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And then the last question before we get to the most difficult of questions, Melody, what path would you say that you're on?
As far as getting a belt, serpent, like, I would like to have the flame belt as well, but I don't think I'm suited for crown. I like helping out, but I'm more in the rose path than the leadership path. But yeah, serpent, I'm pretty close when it comes to garbing and dragons. Those both have, I'm pretty high up there.
Yeah. Your name, I was king, was brought up. A lot of people were like, Melody Songtailor needs to be knighted. I'm like, Melody Songtailor has 9 garbers. Melody Songtailor needs, just, if she could show us an item, we'll give her, we promise, please. But you had stepped away for a bit, and that's fine. So 9 garbers, we're looking at 8 dragons. Yeah, serpent is there without question. Let's get some competitions. I hear there's a competition coming up for Dragon Spine, but we'll talk about that at the end.
I have some thoughts about that.
Oh, okay.
So, you know how I was saying earlier that I don't like doing anything particularly in Amtgard to specifically get something.
Yeah.
So I prefer doing things on my own path in my own time. One of the reasons that I took some time off from Amtgard was that I was having some people, knights included, who were saying, you need to hurry up and get knighted. You need to hurry up and make something. And that just totally made me go, I don't want to do it if this is going to be people pushing me into doing things that I'm not ready to do yet. So, and then the other thing is, being a musician for basically my whole life, I have been in competitions for music over and over and over again. And I've come to the conclusion that I hate competition. Like I don't mind judging. I will judge whatever you want me to judge, but I don't like competing. So, so for me to get my 8th and 9th, it's going to have to be without competing. So
okay.
I am resigned to the fact that, people might not notice something that I've done, and that's okay, because I don't want to compete. And, if I never get knighted because I don't want to compete, that's fine with me. I'm okay with it.
Okay. I'm not going to let that question go as a Debbie Downer. Melody Songtailor, if we get to do something in person and you're able to attend, would you be willing to play the music for court?
Absolutely.
Melody Songtailor, I just found you a non-competitive way of showing your art skill. You can give me a hug when we see each other. All right. Fantastic. And whoever the monarch is when that happens, that was a Kodiak idea. I'm helping out. Anyways, okay, now we're smiling again. Let's get into the toughest of the questions. We're going to start with a question from Anya. Why are you so cool?
I saw that question and I'm like, I'm not cool. Like, I am a socially anxious, barely holding it together, like ball of anxiety. I don't think of myself as cool. And when I go to events, I'm the one who's like in the corner, shy over there, not knowing what to say. So I'm afraid that I come off as stuck up because I don't say anything.
Melody,
I don't know what to say.
I have to disagree with you. When we're going to GOTC and we're like, okay, this is the craft area. This is where the craft area is going to be. As a new player, I'm like, okay, if I need a question about the arts and science, I know where to go. And obviously Dame Emmer was one of those people that you would think is over there, but I always thought of you like, oh, well, Melody will probably be over there. And if I have a question, I'm sure she can answer it for me.
Mhm.
I didn't attend a bunch of arts and science classes. The last time that I was at a GOTC, I didn't think there was arts and sciences for me. But I it still as a young player was like, no, Melody will be over there. I know she will be. And I think it's not a matter of you being considered like stuck up or anything like that. I think it's people being like, she is true to herself.
Mhm.
We know what Melody is a crafter. You know, if I was to go, hey guys, where will I be Saturday at GOTC? If someone says I'm not in the COM meeting, that person doesn't know who I am. Whether I'm the monarch or not, I'm going to sit in that meeting because that's what I want. That's what I'm in, and that's who I am. So no, don't ever think about it. I'm sorry I'm doing this on live for you. I think people are excited that you are true to yourself.
Mhm.
So I hope that didn't take anything away from you're
Oh, no,
not
that's
shy.
fine.
You're a baller, and Amp and Dragon Spine loves you, and you should remember that every day.
Okay.
Anyways, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh gosh. I played Ark for a while there, and there are a lot of cool dinosaurs. Um, uh, I think I'm going to stick with the Brontosaurus.
Okay.
Yeah, they're excellent at gathering berries, and
Mhm.
you can ride on the back of them, and um, that's great.
Classic dinosaur. Sir
Yeah.
Sane would say that's a classic dinosaur.
Hmm.
Can't go wrong. All right. What's the best kind of dragon?
Um, I like the pixie dragons, the
Pixie
small,
dragon.
cute ones that are
Yeah.
like butterfly winged and just
They're
cute.
fey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah, get a
Yeah.
pixie dragon. I like it. Okay. Who's your favorite fictional knight?
Um, Probably Branna of Tarth. I'm a Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. I was a Game of Thrones fan before it was cool to be a Game of Thrones fan because I read the books,
Yep.
and um, I
Yeah.
just thought that was cool that she got knighted.
Yeah. That's yeah, super super good. What's the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
Oh, my favorite sword is also going to be from Game of Thrones. It's Needle. Like, how
Mhm.
could I not pick Needle?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that when I was asking the question, but like that's almost an like immediate answer for you, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
hi, I'm Melody Songtailor. It's Needle.
Yeah. Like, of course I want Needle.
It's awesome, fantastic. Um, so Sir Smiley would like to know what's your favorite book of all time?
Oh gosh, I'm really bad with these favorite of all time type questions because there are too many good things in the world, and it's really hard to pick a
Of questions on
singular.
KOK.
Sorry, I'm looking at my bookshelf over there. Uh, Gosh, I just reread the Harry Potter series, and I think I might just go ahead and say Harry Potter. I
Okay.
know it's really cliche, but it's really good. Like, there's a reason it's cliche.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Absolutely fair. Um, Melody, this would surprise me, to be honest. Well, all the things you do, this would surprise me. Do you play Magic the Gathering?
I did actually, for a little bit,
Oh, right.
but
What kind of deck did you play?
I played a white deck.
Okay. All right.
But I kind of don't like Magic the Gathering because it's kind of one of those pay to win games, and I've never been one with a lot of money. So, um, but I enjoy it, like when it's not super competitive.
Fair enough. Yeah, because the competitions, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Although, there's a game that I think is similar to Magic that I like a lot better. That's called Dominion. Have you heard of that one before?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
It's the thing that makes it different is that you're building your deck as you go along with
Mhm.
everybody having the same access to the same cards. And so because of that, you have to do a lot more strategizing to make your deck the best and beat everybody else's deck where you're on an even ground. Whereas like Magic, it's, you know, if you can buy the card that's the best, then you're going to win the game.
For sure.
So I
Okay. So
much prefer that.
Dominion.
Yep.
Dallin is also offering in the chat that if you play a Pauper deck, or if you play Pauper, or if you have friends that have Cube and you just draft or whatever, the game roughly is, you know, cheap to no money, especially if you're doing drafts, because if you just pay like everyone chips in $10 and whatever card you draft, you keep, you know, you might have a really great deck. You might not, you know, in the case of some of us. I am currently playing Duel Links, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh game, and now I have hatred for my roommate because I play what is called Venom Burn. And if anyone knows what Venom Burn is, you hate me because yeah, and I just got flicked off for it. Anyways, Melody, what is your favorite color?
Periwinkle.
Periwinkle. Is that that's a pink purple?
It's a blue purple.
Blue purple. Blue purple. Okay.
Yeah, light. So.
Okay. I knew the purple was in there. I just couldn't. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Self-serving question here. Is Kodiak more of a Jedi or a Sith?
I'd say a Jedi. You seem to be you seem to be going for the good of humanity.
I try. I mean, I want to be a Grey Knight, which is I fight for the forces of good, but I'm willing to use evil to get my objectives completed. Grey Jedi. I'm gonna grab my phone. I want to clear this stuff. I can't. The Grey Jedi code is my background for my phone.
Oh, cool.
I still use it. It makes Sir Randall upset because knighthood is paladin and anti-paladin, and I'm like, I want to be gray. And he's like, no.
No, not everything is black and white. There's always a spectrum.
Not everything is black and white. Melody, you have the best answers to all the questions. So let's get you to my favorite question.
Okay.
Amcard is making a live action movie. Who is playing Melanie Songtailor?
So you know how I was talking about how I'm really bad with names? Like actor names, I'm super duper bad with.
Okay. Like, well, give us the person, the maybe a movie they played in, and we'll get that name. Because I'll tell you what, this question has gotten so popular that the chat will not only give an answer, but we'll do the research if they need to.
Okay. Actually, how about Melissa McCarthy?
Okay.
We have the same first name. We're both a little on the pudgy side. She's a little bit funnier than I am, but
that's not true. That can't be possible at all. You're hilarious. you have been on this for what, almost an hour with me, and we have not stopped laughing. Melody, come on. Okay. Well, Melissa McCarthy is coming out playing you. What's the theme song that comes on when she steps onto the screen?
Oh, so I am a huge fan of the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack. Like,
okay.
I put it on when I want to do dishes or whatever, because it's just like this really great medieval beat. Like,
all right.
In the soundtrack, there's one song called Theology Civilization, which is just the stupidest name for a song, but you know, it's a really great song, and it has like oboes and clarinets, and it's just cool. So
can you describe the scene where that song comes on? Because I'm like replaying the movie in my head, and I'm like, okay, that's not like the Conan's first appearance one. That's probably when they're in the marketplace, right?
It's further on. It's when he is talking about gods and civilizations with his sidekick. I can't remember the sidekick's name, but you know, they're comparing, you know, what they think about life and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of in the background. And then there's like a pan back, and they're like walking across a a field of some sort and
Oh, that's
traveling. So it's
they're
travel music
running.
as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. That's an excellent answer. Now we're gonna scrap it. That movie's not being made, but everyone has a superpower. What's your superpower?
Um, I think invisibility.
Okay.
Like,
Can't argue with invisibility.
yeah.
Okay. Um, Melody, what's your favorite conspiracy? And what's your favorite Amp conspiracy?
Oh gosh. Like I am not into conspiracies, to be perfectly honest. Um, like I don't
That's
even
why we
know
like to ask the
conspiracies.
question, because people who are like, I don't do conspiracies. And then like 4 questions later, they're like, yeah, I actually have that conspiracy
Okay.
so
Yeah,
no
and I don't
conspiracies?
um gosh, I can't think of any, but maybe if we keep talking.
Okay. Um, Lightning would like to know, would you rather adopt 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Given how difficult it would be to clean up 100 duck-sized horses, I think I'd prefer the one horse-sized duck.
Okay. All right. Well, would like to know, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or one duck-sized horse?
Uh, one duck-sized horse.
Okay. All right.
Horses are pretty vicious, but they're not as vicious as ducks. Like,
Yeah, that's what people keep forgetting is like ducks are evil.
yeah, they'll snap at you.
Melody, are birds real?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's usually the question that gets people's conspiracy theory going, because they're like, no, birds aren't real. Well, guess what? That's a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
Freya would like to know, uh, what drink is better than Mountain Dew?
What drink is better than Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Well, I prefer tea. So,
Tea. Okay.
yep.
Uh, to solve the household question that will decide whether Deborah continues to live with me or not, would you choose Code Red or Baja Blast?
Baja Blast.
Melody.
Like, I hate Taco Bell, so that's probably a whole nother thing to get mad at me about. But I will go to Taco Bell just to get the Baja Blast because I don't like Code Red.
You were answering every question so well, and then that
Then
took
I
a very
totally failed.
you took a very dark turn here for me. That's fine.
Face
It's fine.
planted.
Whatever. Most of you are going to pick up Baja Blast because most of you don't understand, but that's fine. Most of you don't understand what a chicken finger sub is either, so I'm fine with that. I'm going to ask you some either ors, Melody. Are you ready? Either ors. Here we go. Apple juice or orange juice?
Orange juice.
Hot dog. Is it a sandwich or a taco?
Taco.
Ice cream or custard?
Ice cream.
Waffle or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Melody, how much is too much to spend on breakfast?
Um, Probably, if we're not including tip, about $15.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Um, I like fruit.
So this has been something that was mentioned. I still haven't got to try yet. Have you ever tried honey nut Cheerios in your yogurt?
No, I haven't, but it sounds good.
I'm gonna try eventually. Someone is gonna allow me to try that. Deverick, if you don't stop dabbing, you son of a bitch. You give the boy one Baja Blast win, and now he thinks he's the king of the apartment. Okay. Melody, is oatmeal a soup?
No, it's too thick.
It's too thick. Well, let's talk a little bit about oatmeal with one of our last 4 questions. What is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal?
Pi r square. I don't know.
Pi r squared. I think that's the closest mathematical answer we've ever had. Morgan would like to know, can you, with as much detail as possible, explain what the color of the letter F smells like?
Sorry, repeat that?
Can you, with as much detail as possible, explain what the color of the letter F smells like?
Well, F I imagine as a moss green. And so it would smell very fresh and like the dew after a summer's rain in a rainforest up in the northwestern part of the country, in that Seattle area where everything just kind of has that mossy smell to it. That's what letter F
That's
smells like.
beautiful. All right. Okay. Second to last one. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
It would not be Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
Someone in history. Like, now I have to think about history.
Yep. That's usually what happens. Now I'm getting finger guns from Dever. Oh my God. Melody, this is what you've done to this household.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. You have to drink a Code Red now.
I don't like Code Red.
Oh,
it tastes like chemicals to me.
It doesn't. It tastes like heaven. Anyways, go ahead. Okay. Anyone in history, who would it be and why is it not Freddie Mercury? Go ahead.
Hildegard von Bingen. That would be a good one.
Okay.
She is a famous musician of the Renaissance era and was one of the only female composers that has been known throughout history. So I think that's cool.
Awesome. Before I ask the last question, I do have to point out that Dallin keeps pointing out this Baja Blast Zero, and I've never had it. This is what my shows become, Melody. We do an hour of content, and then I get blown up for being on the other side of the Baja Blast argument. Atsamata for all of you. Anyways, last question. Let me get to my breath and have a drink. This question has become very hard with the cough. And I want to make sure you get it, so I'm going to say it slow, Melody. I'm not going to look at it. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
I don't know. The wooden leg would definitely cause some issues there. And seeds and dill pickles don't come out really all that easily. So I'm gonna say a day and a half.
A day and a half. Melody Songtailor, thank you so much for coming out today. If you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll say our goodbyes. Dragon Spine. Guess what? We're almost at Midrain. I'm pretty sure the Monarchy is talking about when we're going to have our webcasted Zoom call for Midrain, because we can't meet in person right now. That's unfortunate. But what the Kingdom did have put out is the award recommendations. So if there's anyone that you know that's been doing stuff that they deserve to be recognized for, fill that out. V9 put out a Druid and Archer survey in the last couple of weeks. You should go do those. V9 has been putting a lot of effort in, and we have nothing else going on. So go do a survey. I'm sure that if you talk to the Monarchy, we could probably even get some credits made for it. KOK, Redbubble, it's still active. You can get this. Look it. That is a bear and a microphone. He's going to get it right now. You can get an Order of the Ash duffel bag. I've used it. It's fantastic. It comes with a strap. It's in the inside pocket if you're ever looking for it. Go to Redbubble, purchase those things. Look at this. Look at this. Order of the Ash duffel. It's sick. It's sick. And Dragon Spine's logo also looks really cool on the duffel bag. I did an experiment on it before I bought that one. So you could get a Dragon Spine bag on the Redbubble. Our channel, our competition between the three groups is coming to a head. I believe one of the groups is at $300. Sick. Deverick and I are not at $300, so my ponytail is staying. So knows that all of you guys that thought you were going to get my ponytail. I'm just going to keep rocking it. No big deal. But you could donate to that still. If you're looking for KOK, it's on YouTube now. It's been a couple weeks, but I did do another episode with the Whack Podcast and with Godric Gray on the archives. You go check those out. Melody, do you have anything you'd like to announce?
No.
No?
Nope. Okay.
Midrain is going to mean that there's going to be yes, we have so many more announcements. Melody, I'm sorry, we have so many more. We have Midrain, Dragon Master. we're doing Dragon Master. We're looking for judges. Gotta, if you're available, do that thing. Votes for the BOD positions and the Kingdom Prime Minister and Kenjin are running for that. The BOD people, Blairow has pulled out of consideration. Stillhet, myself, Devrick, Damon Billy, I believe, are all the people that have put their names in. For yeses and nos, I believe that's due this weekend. So you should vote if you can, or not if you can't. I think that's everything. I think I've done this time. Melody, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a pleasure. I miss you. Again, it's been so long since the last time that we got to hang out with each other. And we didn't hang out sit down and smoke joints and tell stories or anything like that. But getting to be in the same general area is always a pleasure. So you have a great time. Stay safe, and hopefully sooner than later we'll be hanging out.
Okay, sounds great.
And until next week, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak.